Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, guess who we have today? The one, the only, the mix master himself. I call him the mad maniac of Tejano music, the one and only Jonathan Espinoza. We're bringing him on right after this. And here we are. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Sorry, man. I was just double checking because I'm like, okay, this is it. So, all right, Jonathan. Thank you so very much for joining the show, man. For those people that are joining in, thank you so very much. Once again, real quick, if you are watching this on Facebook, don't be surprised if they go ahead and mute the damn thing because that's the way those fascists are. But we are we are also live streaming on YouTube. So if you want to see it on YouTube, we are also, of course, we are live streaming right now on QVORadio.fm. And also we are on Twitch for if you want to go to Twitch Indio and also Indio or DJ Indio on Mixcloud. So we got kind of a lot of coverage there, brother.
Yeah, I was trying to look for it on Facebook. I don't see it, but I'm on the
Oh,
YouTube.
hold on, just a second. Let me pull up the Facebook, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, I like Facebook for the access, but I hate it for the because they keep blocking me, even though I have all of my um. Is that the right one? Oh, there you are. I just got to edit this real quick.
Yeah, I still looking for it here.
Because we are live right now, and I see
Nice.
myself. There it is. All right. And three, two, and one. You should be able to see us on Facebook if you want as well.
Okay,
Okay.
nice.
So we're here. Sorry, we got that taken care of. It's one of the things that I have to do constantly is
Right.
watch all of that. It's a pain, but oh well. It is what it is.
Yep.
So let's get things started off, brother. So how are things
Okay.
over there in Florida, by the way? How are things?
Things are good, man. It's just been really hot, really humid. I know our heat is different from Texas heat. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
that dry, hot, super hot, inferno hot heat.
Yeah, I call it
And
the
yeah.
devil's crack, the crack of devil's ass, man. It's freaking
No,
hot over here.
yeah, it's ugly, but add humidity to that, and it's just it's unbearable sometimes. But you know, it is what it
Yeah,
is. But other than that, man, I've just been busy. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I know we've rescheduled now like 3 or 4 times.
yeah, I know. Is we're like, okay, man, come on, let's got to
Yeah,
do this,
yeah,
And I've been chasing
yeah.
you down, man. And it's more of the fact that I truly appreciate your artwork, the art that you do in music. We talked earlier about Grupo Esperanza. That was kind of one of those things that I was it was really awesome. But even back then, you were very progressive. I love the fact that you are not afraid to push the envelope on music and let us know that there's it's just a new sound. It's a new and you've been doing it for so long. How old were you when you were with Grupo Esperanza? You were like 12, dude. Well, you look that young.
Now I was 16 when I started it. First recorded my first album when I turned 18 in
Hmm.
Houston, Texas, La Mafia Studio in Houston, Texas. Then when I
Yeah.
graduated, we went on the road for 8 years straight, nonstop. We were out like 8 months out of the year, just touring all over the United States, Mexico, Central
Hmm.
America. Did that for a long time, and then the band kind of dissolved. I had I went into the workforce, kind of stopped doing music, just was singing at my local church, praise and worship and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I jumped back into music about I want to say it's about 6 years ago,
Hmm.
and jumped into the mainstream market with Tejano music and writing for artists and producing. So it's
Yeah.
brought me all the way here now.
Yeah, well, I love everything that you've done. I'm a big fan of a lot of the music with the Espinoza project that you've been putting out. With Carla Cristina and Lalo Morales. These it's incredible how you can be so young yet so talented. And I'm not cheapening the fact that your talent is because of you're young, but to be that young and that talented, dude, I'm freaking old, man. I don't have that much talent, man. I can play the triangle ding, and that's about it, man. And it's not even on time, man. Get in the pocket, Lauren. Get in the pocket. Ding.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. It's about I learned a long time ago. It's about I'm sorry, excuse me. It's about doing music that I feel touches people.
Yeah.
I because a lot of times we as producers can get stuck in that. Let's make a song that's gonna be played on the radio. You know,
Right.
let's make it as commercial as possible. Which I do try to implement that in my productions, but I also try to make music that's gonna touch people. It's not
Hmm.
gonna touch everybody. I know not everybody's a fan of what I do, and that's fine. I don't make music for everybody. I make music for people that are gonna like it. And
Yeah.
I've been blessed to be able to work with a lot of talented people, man. Just I call them the team, which the team consists of really three people: myself, Lalo Morales, and Aaron Holler. And then
Hmm.
every we bring in Eddie Perez and Miguel Hernandez and Emiliano Gaon. I mean, I can't pronounce his last name, but
Gaona.
yeah, but they help me. They help bring my visions to life. So it's been a
And it's
blessing.
yeah, it's also, I mean, it shows how much they love music as well. Because like that, my favorite song, Eres para ti or Es para ti. What I really love is the harmonies right at the beginning. It's really like, I'm like, how that's gotta be, that's not, no, that,
That's all vocal stacks.
I
It's vocal
know,
stacks.
you can hear it, but it's just, it's one of those things. Gabriela Martinez, one of the new female Tejano artists, is watching us. She says, "Hello, hey girlfriend, how are you doing?" She's got a great voice, and she
Hey,
says,
Gabriela.
"Yeah, this is really
Yeah, she's
cool."
tremendous. She's
You know,
tremendous.
you know what? We have a tie, brother. We have something that connects us. A really good friend of mine. She's a very special person. Rita Cappuccina.
Oh yeah.
You produced your song, dude. That was really cool. I'm a big supporter of hers. And she's, once again, she's a new artist. That doesn't mean that she's new as a singer. She's been singing, all of her life, and she sang with different bands. She's got a great voice, great range. It's just that this is new for her in Tejano music, and it's her first single that's hers. And
Yeah,
so
she's a veteran. I mean, um, when she first approached me through Messenger, uh, I think it was direct message. She asked me if I would be willing to work with her because she had heard of me through a mutual friend. And first thing I do now when I work with people is, well, send me something. I need to hear your voice because if you can't sing, I'm not going to work with
right, yeah.
you.
There's Rita right there. Hey guys, I'm glad
Hey,
to
Rita.
have connected with Jonathan. Yeah, very talented, great to work with. That's what she
Thank you,
says.
Rita. Thank you. Yeah, feelings
Eh,
mutual. She was just so what's the word I'm looking for? She grinds like
yeah,
she
she's a
just
hard
puts in
worker. Yeah,
yeah, big time. Like she's gigging sometimes four times a week during the weekend, sometimes even during the week. And you know to be able to work with people who can sing, who have good vocals is has been a blessing. And so she reached out to me. She sent me her EP. I listened to it. I remember I was having dinner that night with my wife. It's always when I'm having dinner that people have hit me up.
right. It's
Like,
always that
yeah,
way, man. You're like, come
yeah.
on, come on.
it's
Seriously.
so I listened to her EP. I'm like, okay, she can sing. So then I got back with her, and she said she had an original song she wanted to do in a cumbia style. And so I told her, well, send it to me. She sent it to me, the lyrics, the just her vocal, like an acapella,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to create, an arrangement around her vocal, and then I helped her with the lyrics a little bit. But I'm just happy that she was on board for being outside of the box. Because if you hear that song,
Yeah.
it's not really Tejano per se.
Right.
It's got a little bit of international feel to it. The
It's very
arrangements.
progressive. It's very
Exactly.
progressive. Yeah.
Right, and she was on board, and I was happy about that because sometimes, I've done so many projects, and I work with people that they hear my stuff and they're like, nah, that's not what I'm looking for. I want it to sound more like '90s Tejano. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can do that too, but I always try and stay outside the box as much as possible.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was telling you earlier. When I do some of my work, I could do the old stuff, I could do the classic stuff, but for me, what's fun is the creation, something new, something that's not, you know. And I've had some artists that have gone, "Hey, could you do this?" And I'm like, wow, I've never done that before, so I have to learn on the fly, just using my experience and just trying to do that. And I can definitely see, that's why I commented at the beginning from Grupo Esperanza. I can see how you progressed, but yet you were even pushing the boundaries way back then. And it shows in your production. It's really, really good. Even the songs that I wouldn't think, like we talked about, Es Para Ti, that song obviously is wonderful. Here, let me find the other one that really threw me off. Agradecido. Dude, that one, there's a lot of, you got a lot of music that's your music that you put out, that shows your range and just your thought process, which is really awesome. And that's good it's good to have people like you in the business that are willing to push the envelope and not just be, status quo. So how does that
Yeah,
make you feel, though, when people, notice you for that? Because when I first heard Carla Christina, I heard that first. Her voice is amazing.
yeah.
Carla's got she's got this voice that just, it's incredible. It'll make you cry. But the song was awesome. The beginning, the intro, everything was just spot on. I just was blown away. Instant fan. You can ask her. I'm like constantly like, "Hey, girl, how you doing? Hey, give me. I love this song. I love this song." I'm even repping. Dude, look, check it out.
I saw it.
I got my Carla Christina shirt. She's,
That's
of course,
nice.
she's not on right now. She's practicing, I'm sure. But anyway, how does that make you feel when you're getting recognized for the fact that you not only have great music yourself, but also you're producing a lot of really awesome things?
It's a great feeling. I mean, it really is to know that there are people who appreciate the hard work that we put into this product. I
Mm,
always tell people that want to work with me, I'm gonna give you 110%. We're gonna give you a product that is not fake. It's all real. We use all real instruments, no fake drums, no fake anything.
yeah,
And if I'm gonna put a product out into the market, I want to make sure that it can stand on its own two legs, with some of
right.
the best out there. I have so many producers that I look up to in this genre. Gabriel Zavala, Mario Ortiz, uh, Miguel Hernandez, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a whole bunch because I can talk about them all day, but when it comes down to doing an interview and mentioning them, I forget who they just
Yeah.
I forget
Me,
them. But
Miguel's another one that I've
yeah,
I've had to reschedule because, well, he was sick. He was,
mm.
his voice was going, and I was like, "Dude, don't." And he's like, "No, we can do it." And I was like, "Bro, you can't, man. I don't want to be a reason that you can't talk to you." And you're right. He's incredible. Mario
Yeah,
O. I mean, all the stuff that he
yeah,
did with Jay, man. It's
yeah,
incredible. I
yeah.
Hugo Guerrero too. He's another one that's
Oh,
done some,
yep.
some
Yes,
great work.
sir. Give me Velasquez,
Yeah, there you
uh,
go. Yeah,
Mondo Lichtenberger from La Mafia.
yeah.
You know,
So what
it,
what? how does that make you feel that you're placed among some people that have made some, great moves, and then here you are with somebody in your Espinosa project and just went straight to number one, just like that, dude. I mean, come on. And there
that
she is, right on time with Carla Christina saying hello, friends. Hey, Carla, how are you?
you know what's funny about that project, Lawrence, is that when I finished the pre-production for that song and we had all the parts already, I knew it was a special song from the first time that I wrote it. And it's funny
Uh-huh.
because I had written that song specifically for another artist, a
Oh, wow.
a a, a, a big time artist in our industry, but she ended up not going that route. She didn't want it, which is fine with me. I was just
Hmm.
honored that they asked me to write something for her. So I held on to it for a couple of months. I was like, I'm gonna finish it up and I'm gonna find a vocalist for that song. It took me longer than I wanted. I was ready to give up. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna push this up, put this song aside, and move on to the next one, which was the Lalo Morales song.
Uh-huh.
But then, I'm sure Carla's already told this story. She she came into our lives, and we auditioned her, but through email. As soon as I heard her voice, I sent her the song. I said, you know what? Can you record something, just there at your house on your computer? She sent it to me like a couple hours later. I was like, this is it. I sent the demo to Aaron Holler, who's my production partner.
Hmm.
And I told him, bro, this is the vocal. And he heard it. He's like, yep. And, it shot to number one. And I was super happy, man. But it's kind of one of those things that I mean, it was the first time it happened to me where I knew that song was going to have a lot of success.
Yeah.
Not just because it was a great song, but because the vocalist that God sent us, which was Carla Christina, she
Yeah.
just blew it out of the water. She really did. And
She,
that led to doing her album, which to date I think has been my best work as producer and songwriter. I think that's been my best work
I'll
to
be honest
date.
with you. I love every song on that album. I really do. There's not one that I do not love. I have my favorites, obviously,
Yeah.
but pretty much every song on that. And it's another thing too. It's just the vocal. She's just great, and
Yeah.
everything's clean. The instruments. I love
Yeah.
you were able to get that sentiment of an LP, an old vinyl record, where it has
Thank
the
you.
peaks and valleys, the depth.
Thank
There's
you.
you the I really love that because it's not just all blowing. It's a whole big old line like this. Everything's solid. It's not. It's very you can breathe with it. It's very cool. I mean, it's. She says forever grateful.
and
And
and you know what, Lawrence, the reason I was even able to do that is because the vocalist that I was working with, I knew that I was going to be able to attack her album from a different point of view than I've ever attacked any project that I work with.
uh-huh,
I said, okay, I have a vocalist who can pretty much do anything that I need her to do. So
right,
I wrote that album specifically geared to what she could do vocally, which is, pretty much anything. And so
right,
every song was written with her vocal in mind. What can I get her to do here? What kind of expression could I get her to sing in this song? And she does an incredible job. There's a song in the album that hasn't gotten any radio play, and I didn't expect it to because she's in the Tejano genre, which is Soñadores. I
uh-huh.
think that's the second to the last song on the album.
I
And
have
if
it's on
you
my it's a running on my station. So like I
okay,
told
well
you,
there you go.
I love everything on that album. I mean, and
Yeah.
oh, she says Jonathan is a beast and his entire team is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Did she say
Yeah.
Jonathan is obese?
It is a beast. Yeah, you're a
Oh, I think
beast
said
in it.
Jonathan is obese. I know I gotta lose
No,
some
not
weight.
OB. Wow, that one was pointed toward me, bro. I'm
Nah.
so I was telling my last interview, I'm so fat I got hurt sleeping. Well, going back to what you were saying, this is true that you you were able to harness a vocal that is really impressive. You know,
Right.
uh, uh, you know, to be able to do that. And plus, kudos to Carla, because she was also able to have faith. It takes a lot of faith in each other's ability, talent to do the work, and I think you guys really harnessed that. I love every song, like I said, and a hit right off the bat is just amazing. I was just like, who,
It's 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 funny you say that because I was at work yesterday and I had that exact same thought that you just said right now. I was like, and Carla really trusted me for like from the beginning to put all her faith in me to do an album for her, and she ended up moving to Texas. She moved her whole
right,
life to Texas because of her dream, obviously. And I
right,
I I respect and I admire people who take that extra step in for their dreams, who get
yeah,
up and leave to follow the dream that they have. The Guana brothers are another example of that. Emiliano and
hmm,
uh, and Emmanuel. But yeah, man, I'm super grateful for her because she trusted me with her vocals. And the same thing with Lalo Morales on the song "Mírame."
yeah,
When I wrote that song, I was like, I need a special voice to sing this because it can't just be anybody. And I had already worked with Lalo on like over 2 dozen projects. It had never occurred to me to ask him to sing that song. And so one day I sent it to him, and he was like, "Dad, I gotta sing that song." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So
yeah. He's
it's all about. Go ahead.
he plays instruments for you, doesn't he? He's one of your
Yeah,
musicians.
yeah. He's my main go-to guy for
Uh-huh.
accordion parts. But he plays everything: bajo, bass,
Right. I've seen a lot
guitar.
of stuff. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff on him that he's gone and done, which is pretty impressive. You know, shout out from DFW. Have a great show from
Woohoo!
It's Tejano Time. That's a good friend of
Nice,
mine. He's in the industry. Back in the day, he had his own TV show. It's Tejano Time, and I know he's coming back. And
awesome.
he's like, "Hey, Lawrence," and I was like, "Dude, look, I'm radio, you're TV, and you do you, and I'll do me, and we can meet in the middle and still be friends. It's not a problem. We should all
Yes,
work
sir.
together instead of go against each other. That's for sure."
Oh, definitely. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.
Right? Definitely, and but let's I see your work that you've done with other artists, but let's get with you as far as you have a very spiritual side. I know this because a lot of the music that I've found from you is very spiritually based, or at least that's what I'm getting out of it. Is that kind of the thing? Because uh, um, oh, what's that name song? El Rey? No, 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 not El Rey. It's hold on. Um,
Es para ti.
Es para ti is the one that here. I'm gonna pull it up just a second.
Agradecido.
Agradecido is one of them for sure. El Reina.
Oh, el reino. It's
El
yeah,
Reino,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's another one. Abraza el
yeah.
Destino. It has
Oh
very
yeah,
spiritual connotations to it,
yeah.
and that's somebody who's in touch with themselves and their what from what perspective do you write from? Because even going back to Carla Christina, you have a lot of great music, a lot of good lyrics. They carry the song along with it because you know that was one of the big things back in the '80s with Duran Duran. Simon LeBon. He was just writing all kinds of just it matches. So it rhymes. Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand. What? You know, what the hell? What are you talking about? So what's your point of inspiration for your music?
Well, the spiritual side is I grew up in a church in the church. My dad's a pastor. He is a
Hmm.
pastor to this day. I still do praise and worship on Sundays whenever it's not too hot because we'd have meetings outside.
Uh-oh.
But yeah. So I toured as a Grupo Esperanza for almost 10 years, and it was a ministry. So we were touring all over the country, like I said, and so the songs you just mentioned, like Es para ti, and those that was a Christian album. That album was called. What was the name of that album? I can't even remember. Um,
Sin
Oh my God.
Sin
Sin
palabra.
palabras. Yes, yes,
Ah,
yes.
dude, you're forgetting, and I'm remembering. At least Nino, by the way, just dropped in. She's another great young vocalist there,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
she's a beast.
yeah, and Rosie Allison Villa. Rosie with
Hey
rap
Rosie.
promotion,
Yeah. Yeah,
rap promotions.
I send her a lot of my clients to work with her.
Awesome.
So
Anyway, you were going
but
to the that Christian album.
yeah, so I grew up in the church. I grew up, doing gospel music, doing Christian music, and so I bring a lot of that with me when to my lyrics. I'm very careful about what I write.
Uh huh.
I'm very careful, on on the kind of stuff that I content that I put out. Not to say that because I listen to everything, but I'm
Hmm.
also inspired by a lot of the great writers that Alejandro Sanz,
Right.
um, just just so many. Again, they all vanish from my mind when I want to speak about them every single time.
Beto Roman,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Luis Silva.
Yes,
I'm
yes, yes,
yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
bring a list for you next
For
time.
real, you know what? I need to write that stuff down but yeah, no. So I draw inspiration. A lot of times, here's the thing about songwriting. There's no one right way to do it. There's
Uh-huh.
no run. There's no one right way to write a hit either. And if there is, somebody needs to teach it to me so I can follow that and start doing
Yeah,
it all the
follow
time.
the formula. Follow the formula.
Exactly. So in my case, I never write a song the same way. Like sometimes I'll write a melody first,
Hmm.
and then I was like, well, what can I write about? Or sometimes some lyrics will come to me when I'm at work. Then I'll come home and put a melody to those lyrics. Or sometimes I'll write a beat. I mean, it's just however it comes out. I'll write a song. It's always different ways.
Yeah. In talking with Ram Herrera, he said that one of his hit songs, they call it the amor song because he's like all of my songs have amor in it, but he said that they were just messing around and he came up with a tune and he's like, hey, I got the idea for the words, man. And he was looking for paper and they ended up writing it on toilet paper, and that's where I was like, yeah, that's it. Rosie
Well,
says, I have great respect for Jonathan, very talented producer, making lots of musical hits. I guarantee you that is a
thank you,
true
Rosie.
statement. That's a true statement right there.
Well, I mean,
Randy Watson. I
yeah.
love you. I
See,
love you
like this
teaching.
is this is just stuff that I jot down and write all whenever I'm in here in the studio, and I have
Uh-huh.
like folders and folders and folders of just lyrics and songs that I've written down. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll look at a lyric that I wrote down. I'm like, what the heck was I thinking? Or I'll be like, man, I wrote that. So it's just a
I,
process.
I'll tell you a story, and it's kind of some of the things that you remind me of, like Prince. Prince, he would write all the time. He was always coming up with music and everything else. And I'm part of a cinematography group because I also do videos and stuff like that, short films and stuff. And one of the guys that's in my deal, he's recorded like 15 music videos for Prince, never been released. He
Oh
recorded
wow.
them and they just put it in the vault. And he just wanted it just for him. And to have that much talent and the ability to just, you know, so many songs have been influenced by it, not just the common ones like Sheila E. and, you know, what is it, Ready for Something? I can't remember. But I mean, other songs like the Bangles and all this other stuff, he had such far reaching. And
Right.
I see a lot of that with you, with the fact that, uh, uh, you're pushing all these different things. You have some more traditional Tejano music that's out there, and then you have some very progressive stuff that pushes the envelope and pushes our expectation of what Tejano music can be. Because obviously, with anything, they're going to be the hardcore
Oh yeah.
Puritans. Oh, it's got to sound like this.
Yeah.
It's got to have an accordion. It's got to have this and that. Actually, I talked to somebody who said Tejano isn't Tejano music if it doesn't have an accordion, and I was like,
Wow.
Grupo Mas.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have one for the longest
Mm.
time.
Yep.
You know. I don't remember. Well, yeah, La Mafia, they did incorporate it kind of in there, but a lot of their stuff didn't have it. So
No.
these rules are meant to be broken. They're meant to be pushed into these different genres. I see a lot of rock in it. Sera,
Oh yeah.
that one,
Será, será.
yeah, that one's. What I loved about the song is if you really pay attention to it, man, there's a guitar lead that's in there, a guitar lick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? It's very subtle, but it
Yeah.
very appreciated because I was like, now that's nice, man. It's just like
You know,
it's like a
oh,
mint on the
what
pillow at the hotel room. It's really
I
nice.
t- I t- I'll tell you something about that album that a lot of people don't know. The entire album, except for one song, is just three people. It's me on
Wow.
guitars, keyboards, bass, and then it's my Aaron Holler on drums and percussion, and I do all the vocals and the vocal stacks.
Hmm.
Because I didn't have a budget and I was
Right.
barely coming back into music, so I did a makeshift studio in this room. It was just like a table, like a dirty, nasty little white table with some metal chairs and a computer that we had, an older computer, and some ugly monitors. And I did that entire album here in this room. And I had to, because I'm a multi instrumentist, I get instrumentalist. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
So, I had to, do basically everything myself for that album as far as, the keys, the bass, the guitars. I don't think there's any accordion on that album because I play accordion, but I don't have an accordion. I need to get an accordion. And so, yeah, that album is basically, just I think myself, Aaron, and then we had the late Mario Vigil produce two songs on that album, which are the ballads.
Hmm.
And then I might have had a bass player or two for different songs, but yeah, most of the album was just us three, and that was a fun album to do. It was like my comeback album, but
Hmm.
I didn't do anything after that. But I am working on a single right now, so
Let's
we'll see
see.
we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm in anticipation, and for those guys that are listening in and tuning in from all these different platforms that were on there, let me tell you this: this is the song that I keep talking about. This is the song that I want y'all to hear. If you haven't heard this song, you're gonna fall in love with it. I guarantee you. This is one of my favorite songs that Jonathan has ever put out. It's called Es para ti.
Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi vida es para ti. Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi vida es para ti. Yo quiero estar y caminar junto a ti. Quiero oír tu voz y tus palabras fluir. Quiero entregarte todo el control. Quiero que tú seas siempre mi primer amor. Entregarme a ti fue lo más feo para mí. Desde aquel momento solo vivo para ti. El tiempo pasa, mi vida se no ves igual. Poder escuchar tu corazón palpitar. Sé que tú estás aquí. Sé que tú estás en mí. Mi destino sigue así. Mi vida es solo para ti. Sé que en ti puedo confiar. Sé que en ti aprendí a amar. Mi destino sigue así. Mi vida es solo para ti. Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi nada puesta en ti. Caminaré con mi esperanza puesta en ti. Tú mi fortaleza, todo lo puedo en ti. Tú el autor de vida, mi vida está puesta en ti. Llenas el vacío, llenas todo mi existir. Todas las respuestas solo se encuentran en ti. Y al pasar los años me acerco más a ti. Tu reflejo se refleja más en mí. Sé que tú estás aquí. Sé que tú estás en mí. Mi destino sigue así. Mi vida es solo para ti. Sé que en ti puedo confiar. Sé que en ti aprendí a amar. Y mi destino sigue así. Mi vida es solo para ti. Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi vida es para ti. Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi vida es para ti. Todo es tuyo, nada es mío, todo te pertenece a ti. Hasta el mismo aire que respiro, toda mi vida es para ti. Para ti, para ti. Toda mi vida es para ti. Para ti, para ti, para ti, para ti. Toda mi vida es para ti.
Ah, yeah, it's para ti, Jonathan Espinoza, the magic man himself of Tejano music. I'm telling you, Eh,
Oh,
that's
excuse.
I love that song, dude. I really freaking love that song.
Man, thank you, man. It's that song's been out for like 4 years now. Five.
Hey,
I have.
you
I
know what?
have.
Let me tell you something, man. First of all, Carlos Pops Neri says hello,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
Carla's drummer. That's Carla's drummer. Carlos.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's Pops is cool. Now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna I've shared this before, but I'll share it with you. When I first became program director of the Spanish radio station here locally, the program director that was there before me, he was very lackadaisical, didn't really do a lot of work. And when I got there, I took this job very seriously. And I came across this huge box of all these CDs, and I asked the assistant director, I was like, "Hey, what's this about?" And she was like, "Well, those are songs that he didn't like, so
Hmm.
we don't play them." And I was like, "But why?" Because some of them were, just handwritten. They didn't have labels and all this other stuff. And for her, it was like, she said for him, if it didn't have tits and ass, he wasn't gonna pay it any time. And he was looking for a particular cover as opposed to listening to the song.
Right.
So I went back through and I listened to every CD in that box,
Oh
every
wow.
one of them, and I found several that I really liked. One that I really did like. 10 years old, this song was, and I played it, and I took it to the club. I was DJing. I was also at the Hano DJ at Graham Central Station, and I played it there. And people kept asking for it. And some of my buddies that were DJs, they were asking, "Hey, dude, man, what's the name of that song? Where's that song?" And they started playing it as well. And it was Amor Carnal from Chonarausa. But it taught me an important lesson. That song was 10 years old when I played it, and it became a hit. They brought him from Mexico to perform in San Angelo because it was such a big hit in our area in West Texas. It doesn't matter when the song came out. A good song's a good song. That's all it is. Some songs just need the opportunity to be heard, and
Right.
that's why uh, they fall by. Unfortunately, they do fall by the wayside. They didn't get the opportunity. I'm playing it. I love it, and so
Right.
I want people to listen to it. I want people to say that they love it, and I want them to give them the opportunity to fall in love with it like I did.
Right. And
So,
it's funny because we've experienced that too with Kelo Sepan with Carla. We're always
mhm,
messaging each other and um, talking to each other. But she sent me a message I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago where people are still barely discovering Que Lo Sepan. Like the song is going on a year of it being out. But this
mhm,
was actually a radio station that hit her up. I can't remember where it was at. but they said something like, "Oh my God, we love this song.
Oh,
We're,
yeah.
the 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 callers are calling in. They just want to hear it. We keep playing it. That song's been out a year and they're barely finding out about it. So yeah, it's a blessing. It really is. When there's a who said it? It was Louis Padilla from La Firma. He said it in Spanish. He said, "Una buena rola no la para nadie." Basically, a good song, nobody can stop it.
No,
You know, and I can attest to that. When I had Grupo Esperanza, we were not part of a major label. We were out playing, selling our CDs. That's when CDs were a thing.
right.
And all of our success came by word of mouth. People sharing the music, sharing the music, sharing the music. We went and played in Guatemala, in Belize, we played in El Salvador, because our music got over there before we went over there. Obviously, you're not
Uh,
gonna go. You have
right.
to be
Yeah.
invited. So yeah, like I'm a firm believer in if it's a good song, it's gonna be played. It's gonna break boundaries, and eventually radio stations that don't want to play it are gonna have to play, especially if people are calling in to hear to that because they want to hear it. So
Well, it's playing on mine because I love it, and that's good music is good music regardless of when it was put out, and
awesome.
that's the way it is. Sonia de la Paz says saludos, another great artist. Oh my gosh,
Oh
much
yeah,
like
Sonia's she's I always tell Carla like she is great in this genre, but I think I could see her going into a different genre and just killing it. Like
right.
she
Oh
has
yeah,
that voice that like
and
she
charisma,
yeah,
charisma. Oh my gosh,
exactly,
so
exactly.
beautiful. Got this great charisma, and it's just like you can't help but like her.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's one of the things. Mariana Michelle. She says, "Hey, nailed it. Songs have no expiration date. Most definitely."
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. That's kind of
Yep.
what I was trying to say. Thank you, Marina. And then Carla chimes in, yes, yeah,
Oh yeah.
she's, and it's true. I, I'm not gonna lie. I had to search for some of your music,
Right.
and it's just I have, and I have a lot of music that comes to me all the time, and I listen to it. Now I'll give you another quick one. Um, when I first heard Bobby Pulido's Desvelado, I didn't like it at all. I was like, nope. And that's another lesson that I learned. I was like, this song is gonna tank. And what happened? So
Yeah.
that taught me that no matter what, we have to give it an opportunity to be heard because you don't know. And
Yeah.
radio stations should never be a personal playlist. Radio stations should be an opportunity for everybody to be heard. And they let the music just let it be, let it flow, and let it go out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, production value has a lot to do with it as well. If you can't hear the vocals or if it's not in the right format. And you know what? I will tell you this: there's some music that I get that I cannot play because I don't have all the information on it. They just send me a song and it says 0 1, and my system, the way it's set up, so that way I don't ever have to mess with it, is I need your name, title of the song, year it was released, album, and your code, so that way ASCAP can or BMI can give you your royalties. If it doesn't have that, it's just going to kick it out.
All right.
And then some of the newer guys, I have to sit there and tell them, hey, I really like your song, but I need everything. I can't. And
Yeah, and that goes to like every artist that I work with. I tell them you got to get a promoter. You
mhm,
have to get a promoter. If you don't want to spend the time, sending this to radio stations and sending all your info and your all your all the
yeah,
stuff you need to send.
yeah, the
I usually
EPK
send
and everything.
right all of that. That's why I send them to Rosie. And if you don't, there's so many promoters now in this genre who can help you, with your music and getting it out the right way that it should be sent to these radio stations. So I always tell my artists, find a promoter who can distribute this music for you the right way, and if it's a good product, the people will want to hear it. So, yep.
Yeah, most definitely. And we were talking earlier of what it is that motivates you to work with someone. What was your motivation, or what was your thinking behind the Espinosa project?
Oh, my main motivation behind that project was there's a couple. One was to get my name out there first and foremost.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
Espinosa.
if people, yeah, people, well, people always say, "Oh, so you want to be famous?" I go, "No. What I want is to put out good work so I can continue to get work."
Right.
Because I don't do this full time. I have my daytime job, that I've had for a long time now. And when I get home, I come straight in here, and I'm here to 2, 3 in the morning, putting in the work that I have to put in. So I was like, I'm gonna put out a project where I'm gonna bring in new up and coming artists who probably didn't have a platform, or are not known, or don't have the opportunity to work with top notch musicians. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about my team. With good songwriters. I'm not great, but I'm okay, right? And so the idea was to give people with good people who could sing, people with talent, a launching platform for their gift, for their talent. And so it's like I'm gonna reach out to these singers. You know they don't have to invest thousands of dollars to record a quality project, a one song. I'll do it. I will
Hmm.
I will put everything together. We'll do the best we can, bring in great vocalists, and put out a single for them. And from there, they do the rest. You
Yeah.
know, example, Carla Christina. We
Oh,
put
most
out
definitely.
Que lo sepan, and now she's playing live gigs now. Her and Sonia are doing a couple things together, and
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I will tell you, one of the things that really sold me on her professionalism is she was doing a live. It was one of the first times she was singing there in San Antonio, and the sound equipment wasn't coming out. And I'm always telling the story. The sound equipment was, they were having problems with it. And it wasn't very clean, It- and she got out there, she sang it, and she took it out. I mean, she's just like, I don't care. I'm gonna sing, and it was spot on, just like the record. It sounded perfect for on her part. The instruments and everything else was not as good because of the sound equipment, but it didn't phase her. She got up there and she sang her heart out, and that was amazing to see somebody triumph over technical difficulties and still perform such an amazing show. And she's got high quality in that. I have great respect for her for doing that.
Yeah, she's a professional, and that's what
Yeah.
professionals do. They find a
Hmm.
way to get it done, and
Hmm.
that's another reason why, I wanted to work with her, and we did work with her, and I'm gonna continue to work with her as long as she wants to work with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what you were saying, by the way, Angel Jimenez is watching. Hey, Angel, nice to see
Angel.
you. There's somebody I want to work with. um you mentioned how you're doing your work. It kind of reminds me of, like, when I had a club. uh uh, um Jimmy Gonzalez, he wanted to come and play. And I was like, Jimmy, I don't have the money. I don't have your kind of money right now. It's just, and you just came like a month ago. We don't want to saturate the market. And what he said to me, I'll take the door. And I was like, wow. Here's an artist so confident in his pool that he's willing to work for the door, and knew he was going to cash out. And I was kicking myself because this dude, he packed the house. I mean, all I did was, I put up the advertising dollars, but he packed it, and that's something to have that confidence. And do you feel that way, or is it more of a, I want to achieve this goal? I'm not calling you arrogant. Please don't take that. I'm just saying, are you confident that you can get it done, or is it more of a I need to get it done kind of thing, or
I
a
think a
mixture of
little bit
both?
of it is definitely because I still have to prove myself. I've only been in this genre for 5 6 years,
Hmm.
and I I don't think I'm better than anybody in this. If anything, I there's guys that are way like just better than me as far as musicians and songwriting. But the thing that I've experienced personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but most of my heroes in this industry have reached out to me. They've all reached out to me personally. They've encouraged me. They've told me to keep going. They've said they love my work. They've shared my stuff before. So that has been like a huge booster to
Right.
want for me to continue to do even more and more. And I got a couple things that I've done in the past month that I can't even speak about because it's people that I work with. I always tell people I love the Tejano industry, but I've begun to branch out into other genres and other
Hmm.
types of things. So um but I always feel like I still got to prove myself to myself.
Hmm.
Can I do, like there's a song that I was working on yesterday. I'm doing I'm working with I can't say who it is yet, but I'm working with a established female artist in this industry. I
Hmm.
told you off air who it is, but
Hmm.
um, I was writing a song for her 2 days ago, and I came into the studio around 5 o'clock. I had my dinner at 4. I came in at 5, and I started writing. By 10 o'clock at night, I had nothing. Like I wrote like
Uh,
3 different songs, and they all sucked. I mean, they they sounded
yeah,
good, but again, I've
you're your
learned
own worst critic.
exactly, and not just that. The kind of vocals that she has, I wanted to play to that, not
Right.
just musically, but lyrically. I have to. It's got to match. Everything's got to match. So finally, like around 10:30 at night, I came up with a melody that I really like. Not even the lyrics. So I recorded all the melody, lay down like we call it the bass, la
Hmm.
maquette, and the next day I had lyrics ready. And it's a challenge to always want to do better and better and better.
Right.
It's difficult. And then there's the whole wait a minute, this kind of sounds like something I already wrote. So you got to go back and be like, wait a minute, that yeah, I've already done that chord rotation. I already done that
Hmm.
cadence. Let's rewrite it. Let's do it all over again.
Yeah.
So it's a process, man. But yeah, to answer your question, I have a little bit of confidence in what I do, but I also feel like I'm always having to prove myself, which is good because it keeps that fire lit. It really
Yeah.
does.
I have butterflies every time I get onto this. I've been doing this forever. I've been talking on the microphone for forever and a day, and I still get butterflies because I want my show to be the best. I told you that
Yeah.
earlier. I want to set myself above and beyond other people, not because I think I'm better than other people. It's just that I want to do the best that I could possibly can, and I don't want my show to be uh, not as good because of me. You know,
Right.
uh,
Right.
and I've had those. I've had accolades, and I've had people tell me I hate your voice. I was like, well, it's the only voice I have. I don't know what else to
Right.
do, But uh, uh, your confidence is also it's also confirmed in the success that you've had through other artists and their ability. And like I told you, just Carla is just amazing. And now that you started working with Rita Cappuccina, I'll tell you what, I made this joke the other day with Rita. I've seen her carry a note on pitch for so long. The woman, she made a batch of cookies, she did her taxes, she did everything, and then she ended the note. It was like, I mean, it was like forever. And it was just, she's got a great, she does the national anthem here in San Angelo every year at the
Wow.
rodeo. And they
Yeah.
always say, they always save her performance at the end because you always want the better ones at during the
Oh
big
wow.
shows. So
Yeah,
she's
Rita's got a real strong vocal.
right.
Strong vocal. Like I she did the she recorded the vocals there in San Antonio at Aaron Holler's studio,
Hmm.
and I got to sit in for a little while because I also had a session that night, so I couldn't be there. But the next day when Aaron sent me the rough of her vocal, we listened it together. We listened to it together, and we were just like, "Whoa, she can sing. She can really
Yeah.
sing," and she exceeded our expectations really on that song. And I'm
Hmm.
actually, I just today we were talking today. I'm gonna be doing 2 more songs for her, so I got to
That's
get started on
awesome.
that pretty soon. Yeah, yeah, I'm
That's
excited.
amazing. Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
excited.
and it's great. From Let me ask you this real quick. From your music, what's the one song that you really you put a lot into, and you really it's your pet, it's your this is my baby? All of them are obviously because they're yours, but what's the one song that sticks out? This one has a star. The other ones, they're good, but this one I really love.
From my music that I've sang and recorded.
That you've sang, or that you've worked on.
Ooh, wow. Oh my God.
Well,
It's funny because I have this running joke with Aaron Holler. Every time I write a new song, I go, "This is the one," and then the next we do the next one. No, this is the one. Oh my God, man! I've written over 125 songs from my Esperanza days to what I've done now in this industry, and I've written for a lot of Christian artists as well. I think one of the ones I'm most proud of recently, it has to be two, man. It's a tie between Mírame, the one that Lala Morales sang,
hmm.
and Mejor Sin Ti, Carla's album.
Oh
And
yeah,
that one, I love that song. I can listen to that song over and over. I know producers always say they don't like listening to their own stuff, and
hmm.
I'm down with that for a little bit. But Mejor Sin Ti, I'll listen to that thing at least 10, 12 times a week, and
Yeah,
just
that's
love what I was able to convey on that song.
she's just
Yeah.
she really is. She's just amazing at her vocal ability, just so that way we can get people a taste of what it is that we were talking about. And in case you were living under a rock and have not heard Carla Christina, beautiful, talented, and what a voice. And also, the magic man of Tejano music here, helping her out, backing her up with production and everything else. And this is Carla Christina we're going to listen to. And this is the first one. Que lo
Sepan.
sepan. Yeah, que lo
Que lo
sepas.
sepan.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I like the way you look at me. I like the way you talk to me. You make me feel like a queen. Me gusta como tú me miras. Me gusta como tú me hablas. Me hace sentir que soy una reina. La reina de todo tu universo. Me gusta cuando me acaricias. Me gusta como tú me besas. Me hace sentir segura y completa. Y en esta vida siempre voy a ser tuya.
I don't mind contributing to your.
Hey there. Well, I told you that song was pretty badass, man. And you know, the little pauses, the little those are things that I was just like, man, come on. You just now you're spoiling me, man. Come on. Cuz
shout
there
out to
go ahead.
shout out to Valentino Maltas for that saxophone part. Originally, it was
Yeah.
gonna be a guitar part at the end, but we sent the song to Val with my with
Mhm.
my saxophone parts that I did on a keyboard.
Mhm.
And I told him, "This is what I'm going for. Do your thing." So he did his thing, and then at the end, he did that sax solo, which we didn't
Yeah.
ask him to do, and we're like, "What in the heck?" And we were just like, me and Aaron were like, "Oh my god!" We're like, "Nix the guitar solo. We're keeping this saxophone solo because it's."
Right.
And I remember had asked Val like, "What made you do that solo?" Because that's we pay Val for his part,
Right.
and then we didn't ask him to do the solo, but he did it on his own, and we asked him what made you do it. And he's like, his exact words were, "Dope music deserves dope parts." So I'm like, okay.
That's great, man.
Yeah,
I-
man.
that's that's awesome because it if the way it just and you got Carla, she's got the and then that
Yeah,
saxophone's
yeah.
right over the top. It's just like it's like a dance of vocal. It's audio dance that right there, man. It's pretty
Well, I'm
awesome.
a, I'm a big fan of Dave Matthews Band,
Oh
and
gosh.
If you know Dave
Hmm.
Matthews Band, listen to the end of that song, and it's heavy Dave Matthews
Hmm.
influence, but in Tejano music. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Who influences you outside of Tejano music aside from Dave
Whew.
Matthews? I
Oh
mean,
my
because
God.
I'm hearing like guitar riffs from oh hey Jonathan, oh that's you. Diego is watching. Diego, gotta see. Hey, Diego, that's another guy.
Diego.
I call him the Wizard of Oz of Tejano music, man, because
Oh yeah, Diego's he kills
he's
me. Like he's on another level. Like I need to
he's
work with him. So
yeah, he's great, right? He's got the
yeah,
little spoken
yeah,
mirror kind of thing. Do not pay
he's
attention to the man behind the curtain.
he's a beast. He's a beast. Only
Mhm.
thing is he's too expensive. He charges $10,000 per guitar, but I'm just kidding. I don't know how much he charges.
You
I haven't
just take
asked him.
him, man. He's like, you sunk my battleship.
No, I don't know.
Um,
But we're gonna work together. We're gonna work together soon.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's cool. So,
Oh, influences,
the
bro.
influences outside of, I mean, you already mentioned Dave Matthews. I hear a lot of Prince like kind of things, because there's multi-layered music. It's one's going on one way and the other one's going the other way. I don't want to get too technical on it. It's just
Yeah.
if you pay attention to the music, you're going to truly appreciate that you can hear a lot of different instruments going in a lot of different directions to make some beautiful music.
Yeah, there really isn't anything I don't like. But if I sit here and tell you who do I find myself listening to the most or a lot for songwriters, to me, one of the greatest Hispanic songwriters to ever grace God's earth is Alejandro Sanz. He has a
Hmm.
way of writing that is just he's a poet. He's a
Hmm.
poet, and I study his lyrics all the time. I study his music. Marco Antonio Solis to me is another great writer. There's
Right.
a Mexican singer called Fato. He wrote most of Pepe Aguilar's hits, Por Mujeres Como Tú.
Hmm.
He's one of my favorite writers too. Um, there's another guy named Alex Sintek. A lot of people don't like his voice. I like it, but he's as a writer, he's just up there. And I mean, all the greats, I love them all. I listen to a lot of Dr. Dre for mixes and beats. I love the way
Hmm.
he mixes. I love the way he can he just has a groove that's impeccable.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll listen to his older stuff, and just that snare and that kick and the bass line is just like wow.
Yeah.
But I
I I
mean,
I mash up a lot of Dr. Dre's beats with cumbias, just to give it like a
yeah.
a hip hop cumbia sound. Whenever I DJ, or when I used to DJ, I would mash them up together, and people are like, "What? That's chronic, bro. What are you doing?" But
Yeah,
great
I
music
mean,
is great music. That's all there is to it.
yeah, it's exactly. And I mean, I listen to everything. There's nothing I don't listen to. I draw inspiration from a bunch of different, artists, genres. But Alejandro Sanz is definitely somebody I'm always listening to. Anything Whitney Houston, anything
Hmm.
produced by David Foster, John Mayer. I like John Mayer a lot. Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah.
It's just a whole bunch of different artists that I love, that I listen to a lot. I listen to a lot of mariachi music too.
Oh
I
wow,
love
cool.
mariachi music. I actually want to do. I had a song that I did on one of my Grupo Esperanza albums. It was called Mi Primer Amor. It was a mariachi song, and it went number one on a lot of Christian radio stations internationally. So I'm thinking about doing a mariachi song soon here.
Hmm.
Maybe on my next album. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool that you have no boundaries as far as no, I want to stay within, because some people
Oh,
they
oh,
do, they want
oh.
to stay within the little.
And can I say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lars,
Go
but
ahead, go ahead.
cinematic music. If you ever get a chance to look at my iPod, I have a lot, like 50% of my music is cinematic stuff. Anything that uh, John Williams has done,
Oh
um,
wow. John Williams is
Hans Zimmer. I love Hans Zimmer. I can't wait to go see him live. Um, just so many. I just last year I was blessed with the opportunity to do some music for what's that show called? The Garcias on HBO Max. And it was an opportunity
Mhm.
presented to
Yeah,
me by
yeah.
Eddie Perez, who's another person I look up to as producer. Oh, I forgot to mention him earlier. See, I forgot to mention him. He's another one of my favorite producers and
Mhm.
musicians. I love Eddie. Eddie is just he again another. He's on another level. But he presented me with that opportunity to help him do some stuff for that HBO Max show, which was to me was just a super blessing because that's one of the things I want to get into eventually is scoring for films. So
Well,
we'll
I
see.
am making a short film, so just putting that
Just
out
let me
there.
know. We'll do it.
I'll tell you, we'll work together. I'll
I'll
do
do
the
it.
cinematic part, you'll do the music part,
I'll do it for free too. Let's go.
Don't say that out loud. Don't say that out loud.
Well, I don't mind saying that because one of my mentors, he used to tell me all the time. He says, whenever you're starting out and people don't know who you are, or you're just starting out from the beginning, never be afraid to give your product out for free at the beginning because you don't know who you're sowing seed into.
Yeah.
And this mentor of mine has his own jet. I mean, he's up there.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't mind. I help out people as much as I can. But I
Yeah.
also will not get taken advantage of either. So
No, I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
I charge everybody, dude. I'm just like,
yeah.
if you want to breathe the air that I'm breathing, $50. I don't
You
know.
see this face?
All
Don't
right.
look at this face if you're not gonna pay me.
Right. No, you know what's funny? What my tagline is? Not my tagline, but one of the things I always say I'm well known for is because I love reading, I love absorbing as much information as possible, and so I'm always sharing and stuff, and especially if I share a knowledge nugget with somebody. I'm like, dude, you owe me $5. I just taught you something, it's just one of those things. But no, I understand that, I'm kind of wanting to, share my gifts as well. Um,
Right.
Especially when it comes to videos and stuff like that, because the medication that I'm taking, because I'm a transplant recipient, but I still have some more chronic problems, and the medication that I'm taking is actually slowly making me blind.
Oh
And
man.
so I want to get to see everything
Right,
before
right.
you know. It's like then you're gonna be seeing me like this. "Mhm. I just called to say I love you, Jesse Villarreal. How you doing, Jesse?
Yo,
Well,
Jess.
yeah, welcome back,
Yeah,
man.
I'd like to say something about Jess. When I first started my studio, he was one of the first people to come in here and trust me, my little home studio, and I always be grateful for that. There's always somebody that I looked up to growing up. Jesse Villarreal, Los Youngsters. I used to have this cassette of theirs. I think it was the cover was a like an old Cadillac car, I think, or some. It was some kind of classic car, but I used to play
Right.
that thing all the time. And he's a local legend. He's written for so many different artists, and just super grateful that he gave me my first one of my first opportunities to come in here and record some stuff here with me too. So yeah,
So
saludos, Jess.
you spend a lot of time in Texas, but you're in Florida.
Yep.
So how do you manage that? I mean, how do you get that? I know obviously with technology, we have that. And he says I have Jamie's CDs. He's
That's my
awesome.
first name. That's my first
Jamie's
name, Jamie. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Grupo Esperanza.
Yeah. Them
so
CDs are
so
horrible.
oh no.
I
You look
listen.
at him,
I
you're like,
listen
oh,
to.
why did
Oh
why?
man, what was I thinking, man?
It's just like hair choices and clothes choices and stuff.
Yeah, all of that. All of that. It's like,
I
jeez.
have a really good friend in the business, and he was a keyboardist, and he's this little pint of a person, and he's got this huge cross on him. I'm like, dude, it looks like it's weighing you down. You were freaking yeah, so, but no, I lost my train of thought. Sorry,
Me too.
but no, it's getting back to your Espinosa project and what you have on tap. You mentioned earlier that you're kind of pushing you're not concentrating solely on just your musical career for yourself. You're kind of
Oh no.
wanting to concentrate on the studio aspect of it, and the
Yeah.
all of that. Um, is that a conscious decision, or is it just something that, I mean, because of the distance, like we were talking about? Is it because of the distance, or is it just something that you feel more apt at?
I think it's a little bit of both, man. I Production to me has always been my wheelhouse. Like
Hmm.
I there's a keyboard that I used to own. It was called the N364. The brand is a Korg keyboard. And we call it a music workstation. And the
Hmm.
reason it's called a workstation is because you don't need a computer or a DAW to create music. It has a built-in sequencer, so you
Right.
can record, I think, like 16 different channels. So I used to make music on that thing all the time, and I found out at a young age that I like to create music. I still love to sing. I sing around the house all the time. My wife's always telling me, "Why don't you record something, do something?" And I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just haven't been inspired enough, or I did the road for so many years. I miss the road. I really do. Um,
Yeah.
but right now, my season is to produce and to write. I love doing that, and I love helping launch careers, if I can say
Mhm.
that. I mean, haven't done a lot of it yet, maybe with two or three different people, but I think right now that is what God is allowing me to do to help bring other people's talent to light, and I
Yeah.
don't mind doing that at all. I don't mind doing that at all. I love helping, uh,
Well,
build someone else up.
let me ask you this: if one of the people that you're working with says, "Hey, John, I need you to join me on this song. I want to do a duet with you," what would you say?
I'll
Is that
do it.
you would do it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I'm actually, like I said before, I'm doing a single right now that I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
release in the secular market, in the mainstream. It's a cumbia. Um, I with my own stuff, I take forever because everything's got to be just right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but I plan to release that in a couple of months, hopefully. And if it turns out that I have to go sing and tour or whatever, well, then if it calls for it, I'll do it. You know. But
Yeah.
I will say this. I will say this. I I like being in my studio and just creating and like blocking the rest of the world out. I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that than have to. I gotta find musicians. Now I gotta pay for this and I gotta pay for that. I don't
Oh
have
yeah,
time for that.
yeah, it can be a headache. And then
Yeah,
you got to keep the musicians. You got to keep the ones. I remember
definitely.
I was with a group, and the keyboard player, he had gotten drunk the night before the performance. He got into a fight with his girlfriend, and he punched the. He was pounding on the door. Let me in, let me in. And it was one of those doors that had the little glass panes in there, and he hit it and it broke it and cut himself on his hand right here, and he was playing. The very next day, he shows up with this huge bandage. He looked like a glove. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you? Bro? He played the best he's ever played. And I'm like, we're gonna cut you every time we got a big gig. We're cutting you. Carla says Jonathan is one of the kindest people I know. He has a huge heart. He is unselfish. God will always bless him, and that's definitely something that I am learning today. And this is the song that you were talking about earlier, that with Lalo Morales, Mírame. It's a great song. It's a beautiful song, and I left it as is because I liked it. And tell us a little bit about this song. I know you mentioned it, but just to kind of a recap real quick of Mírame. How did that get started?
Well, again, Mirame was a song that I wrote here in this room one night. I was messing around with some chords that I really liked, and I started to write. For some reason, the word Mirame kept coming to me. And so I built off of that. I piggyback off of that and just wrote a whole song. And, I was actually going to try and record that one myself. My wife
Uh-huh.
loves that song. She
Hmm.
loves that song. And she really doesn't like Tejano music. She's not a huge fan. She likes Selena, Mas, but she doesn't listen to none of the new stuff. Well, she likes Carla, of course.
Yeah, because like um,
Yeah, yeah,
hey, Carla,
she loves Carla.
Carla's
She
there.
No, she actually loves Carla. She loves Carla. She's always listening to Carla's album. But
uh,
yeah, so no, I had the song and I knew I needed another single for the Espinoza experience.
mhm,
I needed a male singer and a new up and coming male singer, and we had already been working with Lalo for a while. He's one of my
right.
best friends. So I sent it to him and I said, "Bro, check this out. You think you want to sing on it?" And he's like, "Bro, I love that song. Let's do it." So the rest is history. We're actually working on so many projects with him right now. And he's
Hmm.
got his album that's going to come out, and he's helping Macizo, and he's helping Destiny Navaira. And we might start a band together and call ourselves Al Chile. I mean, we just got so many things in the
El
works.
Chile.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. So here it is. This is Mírame. Lalo Martinez, produced by the master
Lalo
himself.
Morales.
Lalo Morales. Did I say Martinez?
Yeah.
I'm reading everybody else's
Morales.
names. Sorry. Lalo Morales. Sorry, Lalo. There you go.
Llevo en mi bolsillo los recibos de tu amor. En cada uno de ellos te escribí una canción. Letras y estrofas que hablan solo de tristeza. Estás tejida dentro de mi mente y de mi ser. Creo oír tu voz y la verdad no sé qué hacer. Quisiera borrar de mi memoria toda tu existencia. Fíjate que ya aprendí a vivir feliz sin ti. Te lo debo a solo a ti, ya casi te odiaba. Y no se te ocurre regresar, solo vas a encontrar sueños quebrantados, cenizas del pasado. Mírame que ya vivo mejor sin ti, ya ves. Eso de ser tóxica no te quedó muy bien. vas a encontrar sueños quebrantados, cenizas del pasado. Mírame que ya vivo mejor sin ti, ya ves. Eso de ser tóxica no te quedó muy bien. Y ahora vivirás arrepentida con saber que como te quise nadie más te va a querer. Y ahora le toca a alguien más mi corazón. Le escribiré canciones nuevas de nuestro amor. Mírame que ya vivo mejor sin ti, ya ves. Eso de ser tóxica no te quedó muy bien. Y ahora vivirás arrepentida con saber cómo yo te quise y nadie más te va a querer. Mírame que ya vivo mejor sin ti, ya ves. Eso de ser tóxica no te quedó muy bien. Y ahora vivirás arrepentida con saber cómo yo te quise y nadie más te va a querer. Mírame, ya vivo mejor sin ti. Eso de ser tóxica no te quedó muy bien. Y ahora vivirás arrepentida con saber que como yo te quise, nadie más te va a querer.
Yeah, awesome song, dude. Let me ask you something about that song real quick. What kind of guitar were you playing on there?
That is actually Bajo Sexto done by Eddie Perez.
Yeah, the bajo, and then you got like the the congas. It's just an
Yeah.
interesting mix. You got bajo and congas. You don't really you don't really put those together. So
Yeah, I
it's
got
kind of
a lot of different keys and pads and things going on in that song. Try
yeah,
to I try to make it like, how do I say this? Like if you were floating in space.
yeah,
So a lot of my friends tell me when they hear that song, they just zone out when they hear that song. So I guess that's how I would explain it.
I see it as more of like a couple dancing on like couple dancing on a cloud, just slowly
También,
gliding around. You know,
right?
it's it's got a lot of content. I'm not saying it's a very lazy lackadaisical song. It's got a lot of
Right.
content in it, but it just gives you that vibe that's like, it's just, oh man, this is jam right here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's a
it,
real
it's it's
smooth song.
yeah, it's a smooth song. There you go. It's a
Yeah,
smooth song. So I had to put on my Sonia de la Paz cap.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and that has to go with my Carla Cristina shirt because it's the Chingona party. I think that's what it's called. They're having here
Yep.
pretty soon. These girls are I call them girls, but these ladies are just amazing.
You know,
So
I want to say that I had told, I think I had done a post about how they are, not waiting around for things to happen. They went and they put this show together, and we need that kind of entrepreneur. It's an entrepreneur spirit. It's what it is.
right,
It's like a
yeah,
business. It's a
definitely,
business, in this industry because if you're not getting booked, if these places aren't willing to book, these artists that are actually really good, like Sonia and Carla, and there's a bunch of them right now. Man, figure it out. Do your own thing. Let's go. Let's figure it out. Let's
yeah,
and I love that they're doing that, and hopefully that inspires the next generation to say,
yeah.
hey, let's go do our own thing. Let's
Jimmy Gonzalez, give me the door. You know,
exactly,
give me the
exactly.
door. I will put on my own show. Give me the door.
I
And
mean, if you really wanted it, you could figure it out. Like I remember I told Aaron Holler last year when I had, because I was thinking about doing a single last year. I just never did. I wasn't motivated enough. And he's like, "Well, where are you going to perform this?" I go, "Man, I will go speak to whoever you're playing with and tell them just let me sing my song before they go on. I'm not going to charge. I want no money. Just let me get the exposure." let me get the exposure. If you're gonna play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll ask whoever you're jamming with. Let me go sing the song before you get up there and play. You
Hmm.
know, you got to figure it out. You got to
Yeah.
just, if you really want it, you can get it. You know,
Well,
so
just on the same thing on that note, I remember, running sound at certain places here in town in San Angelo, and here are these three guys. They just want to play, and they get up on stage and they jammed, playing, bluesy rock for a bunch of Tejano and Norteño people, and they ended up being Los Lonely Boys. And
wow.
you know that what you're saying is very, very true. And you know I'm here to help you out, bro. You got a song, throw it my way, and I'll put it on the air. I guarantee you,
Yeah,
because I'm a believer in music, not a
right.
believer in establishment. I'm not part of the establishment. I'm Native American. How the hell? I live in Texas, so everybody thinks I'm Mexican. But I love Tejano music, and so I don't have a preference. I don't have the. I've had some people tell me that before. Hey, well, you're not keeping up with the culture and everything, dude. What culture? I don't know what to tell you, man. My name is Michuachelo. What
Oh wow,
it's different.
that's
So
awesome.
that's why it's like I appreciate all of the music. To me, Tejano music is great because it encompasses so many different influences. It's not formulaic. It's not like salsa and merengue and bachata and norteño. They're all very formulaic. You know what kind of music that you're listening to, banda especially, and so it's Tejano has influences of everything, and that's the way it should be. That's good music, period. It doesn't have to have the saxophone and accordion in unison. It doesn't have to do that. It can be
Yeah,
a lot of everything.
I always tell everybody we have the most unique genre on planet Earth
Hmm.
because our music encompasses so many different styles and genres. You can do with our music that you can't do that with you know any other genre.
Hmm.
And but I always tell people at the same time though, if you break it down to its most simplest form, we have two rhythms in Tejano music, which is a cumbia or a ranchera. If you break it down that to the simplest basic form, that's what we have to work with. That's
Hmm.
it. And
Hmm.
every cumbia has that pattern, and every ranchera has that pattern. We have to do a song using those same rhythms that we've been using for hundreds of years and create all around it
Right.
new sounds, new chord rotations, new sounds, new lyrics. So, our industry, our genre is the most interesting and most
Diverse.
diverse genre that exists to this day. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How many different things can you do to a cumbia that haven't already been done? But we find ways to do it. Shout
I,
out to all my producers. Shout out to all my producers, and they know who they are. I love them every day. Just figuring out new ways to make something new out of the formula that's already been given to us. So I
wow.
love it.
Like I told you, Dr. Dre and cumbias for me. I mix them together and
Yeah,
put it out there because it works. It works.
yeah.
So we're coming to the end of the show, brother.
All
And
right.
usually, what I do is I go ahead and give the artist free reign and to go ahead and mention whoever you want to mention to. Oh, tell them where you get the merch if you have some merch to sell, and anything else that the thank yous and the shout outs and everything else. And it's all yours, brother. I will get off of here and
What happened? I'm on by myself. So I just want to shout out the team that I always work with: Aaron Holler, Lala Morales, Eddie Perez, Miguel Hernandez, Emiliano, um, all the Valentino, and just all the different people that I've worked with in the past 6 years. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. All the artists that reach out to me, all the artists that I have pending songs with that are not out yet. That's not my fault. That's y'all. But nah, I'm just super happy. Want to continue to work. Want to continue to put out excellent product. And so, if you need some work done, just hit me up. Shout out to my wife who lets me come into this cave almost every day and just be in here and create. My kids, my two kids, I love them, and be on the lookout for more music coming from the Espinoza experience. Currently working with a couple different artists, so hopefully this stuff will be out soon. Thank you once again, Lawrence, for the opportunity. I had a lot of fun, man. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks a lot, brother, man. I appreciate that shout out, man. But it's all you, bro. It's all you and your talent. Thank you so very much for being on the show with us and sharing some of that experience, La Espinosa experience. And
Yes.
it's thank you
Okay.
for, yeah, go ahead.
The project was originally going to be called the Tejano Chronicles, but every time Aaron would send me, we send each other files of the songs, whatever. Every time he sent me back the files, it would always say under the Espinosa experience. And I was like, dude, can you stop naming that? The project is called the Tejano Chronicles. But but once we started working on more of the songs, I was like, man, these songs aren't really what you would consider Tejano, so maybe the Espinosa experience isn't a bad idea. And so I had a bunch of other different friends and musicians tell me to name it that. So I just said, okay, fine, we'll name it that. That's the only reason I named it that. That's the only reason.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not like a glass etching on the back of your car. It's like Espinosa.
Yeah.
I wonder if that guy's a Lopez.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. So thank you so very much once again for joining us, man. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad that we finally got together,
Yes, sir.
because we were going back and forth, which is
Yeah.
awesome. It's amazing. This is your house, bro. Anytime that you need to come back, you want to come back and share some experience, share some music with us, you just give me a call and I will definitely put you on the list. You know that. I hope you do. And big shout out to everybody that was joining us.
Yes.
Carla, once again, all the accolades. You deserve more than that because you're a hugely, immensely talented person, beautiful inside and out. Rita Cappuccino also was, with us, and you, I, and it's not just because I know you personally, but I do know that you're a great person, a consummate professional, always looking to perfect everything, which is awesome. And then also all the other people that were joining, and I'm sorry, I forgot most of the people that were there. It was,
Yeah.
but, and if you have anything else, bro, please come to me and I will help you with any which way you can, any which way I can. Now, we mentioned this song earlier. It's one of your favorite songs, one of my favorite songs from Carla Cristina. This is Mejor es or
Sin
Mejor
ti.
Sin Ti. I was going to say Mejor
Yes.
Sin Ti. Mejor Sin Ti goes like this.
Yes.
Tal vez no volveré y por ti no lloraré. El final por fin llegó. La culpable no fui yo, fuiste tú. Ya no hay nada que decir, es mucho el tiempo que perdí. Ya no tienes que fingir, el culpable fuiste tú. Y ahora sabrás que ya no volveré contigo. Me entristece saber que lo nuestro terminó. Vete por favor, ya no te quiero ver. Esto terminó, así o más claro. Te deseo lo mejor, pero ahora decidí seguir sin ti. Ya no me hables más, no voy a contestar. Lo nuestro se acabó y ya no volverá. Te deseo lo mejor, pero hoy vivo mejor sin ti. mejor nada terminó y ya no hay marcha atrás. El culpable fuiste